Hi, I'm Diane Webster, and today is July the 13th, 2020. I'm talking today with our morning coffee, and we're going to chat about a difficult problem for many people that unfortunately experience stillbirth. I had a stillborn first baby at 39 weeks, following 9 previous miscarriages. And it all happened very suddenly. The pregnancy was absolutely normal until it was the day of my 39-week appointment with my gynecologist, and I woke up and I didn't feel any movements in the morning. And there'd been a lot of kicking from the baby during the night, and then there was just nothing. So I went down to my obstetrician and he found there was no fetal heartbeat, and then I was admitted to hospital for an ultrasound to confirm that the baby had died, and then I went through an induction of labour, and so I was labouring for all through that day. They induced the labour at about midday, and then I laboured all afternoon, all through the night, and then the baby was ready to be born at around about 3 in the morning, but it was because the baby had died, they thought that it wasn't worthwhile getting the anaesthetist in, the obstetrician, to deliver the baby. So I just lay there until 8 o'clock in the morning for 5 hours with the baby in the birth canal. I had a full epidural on board, so that was good by that stage. It was very painful up until then, but the anaesthetist had given me an epidural at about 11 p.m. So then the baby was delivered, and it was very sad. I was wanting to hold the baby for a long time, but in the end I knew I had to give the baby up. They did a full autopsy, and as usual, as in most cases, no cause was ever found. So with this video, I just wanted to talk about some of the ways I recovered from my grief and loss, and also the lessons that I learnt for the future, because I have been very lucky that I have 3 healthy adult children now, 32 years later. So when my stillbirth occurred, it was in 1988. I was 32 years old. It was February the 18th and 19th. When I was recovering, I found the best thing was going back to work, because it's great to have a distraction. You need to take your mind off it. And it was very good when I was working during the day. I was able to concentrate on something else, but it was difficult when I got home at night, and then I didn't have a distraction, and I was very, very sad. And there's also a very big effect on your partner, on my marriage. Eventually my marriage broke up, but it wasn't for years later. But I think that the loss of a baby is a very, very difficult thing for a partnership. We all blame ourselves. I definitely blame myself, and just be aware that it's normal to blame yourself, even though it's nothing that you have done. Another thing I found very helpful was a support group. I found some lovely ladies at my work that also had experienced stillbirth, and we were able to have a cup of coffee once a week in the afternoon for half an hour, and that really helped me. I did join the Stillbirth Association, SANZ it was, Stillbirth and Neonatal Death Group in Australia, and that was very helpful. The only problem was, about a year after I'd lost my baby, I still kept on getting their newsletter, and it just made me very sad every time I received the newsletter of another baby that had died. And so I decided not to receive the newsletter after that, because I was ready by that stage to move to the next stage of a bit more recovery, and I wanted to have hope for another pregnancy. Don't ask why it happens, because I know we all do. I definitely did. I thought that I could find a cause for it, and I spent a lot of time on that, but most people never find out why it happens, and they're usually that we never find that out. So I found the best thing for me was to recover my hope for the next pregnancy. And so I also delved into the family history when I was trying to find out why did it happen. And I found out my grandmother had lost 3 stillborn babies before she had 3 healthy sons. So there may be something genetic. Mostly we don't know. But I decided with the next pregnancy, when I did finally get pregnant again with my first child, first live child that was born, I borrowed a fetal heart monitor so that I could put that on during the pregnancy and always check the fetal heartbeat when I got home from work in the afternoon, and that was very reassuring. I think it's very important to work well with your obstetrician, get good medical help, and get tested. Make sure you're tested all the way along for normal fetal growth and placental function all the way through. I decided, as I am a medical practitioner, I worked with my obstetrician and decided that I would have an early induction for each of my subsequent pregnancies, seeing I'd had the stillbirth at 39 weeks. I got my next 2 children induced at 38 weeks, and they were still normal vaginal deliveries like the first one. My obstetrician encouraged me to have the stillborn baby delivered vaginally with a normal delivery, because that basically brought the birth canal into all its normal function so that I would have an easier delivery with the next 2 babies, which I did. I had one in 1990 and then another baby in 1992. Both normal boys. They're grown men now, wonderful, wonderful people. And then I got pregnant with my daughter 9 years later with a new marriage, a new partner. And at the 37-week check, my obstetrician found that she couldn't get a heartbeat. It was very faint. And so she decided to do for an emergency delivery. We tried for an induction, but the birth just wouldn't progress. And so I had to have an emergency cesarean section, and I had a beautiful, healthy baby girl delivered at 37 weeks. But I'm sure if I hadn't have gone to that obstetrics check at 37 weeks, I might not have my beautiful daughter with me today. So it's very important to get medical care in those final weeks of the pregnancy. So that's my story of stillbirth. I'm sure there's a lot more to say about it, but I'd like to share it with you if you are going through a difficult time, if you've had a stillbirth, or if there's a family history and you're wanting to prevent anything happening like that, then get tested. If you're recovering from your grief and loss, get a support group. It really helps, and it really helps to get a distraction either with work or a hobby or something that you really enjoy doing, because time is a great healer. And I'm pleased to say that I have a wonderful life now. I'm very happy. I've got 3 beautiful adult children, and there is recovery from stillbirth, and you can have a fabulous life following such a difficult, traumatic time.